allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've got a few, we'll go ahead and try to get the minutes approved here. And so on October 24th, we had a meeting and got the minutes. So is there any changes or additions to those minutes that anyone has?
Which date was this?
This is October 24th.
It was when we adopted the budgets.
I move we approve that.
Okay, so motion to approve the minutes of the 24th. And
Second.
Becky seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, then on that same thing, the ordinance 2023 was sent out to us, kind of outlining the.
It outlines the budget
It's the whole budget
and the salary
and
ordinance.
breakdown. So I don't think we've heard any changes or additions to that, so I'll again entertain a motion to approve that ordinance 2023 for the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Craig has made a motion, and I have a second.
A second.
Sonia seconded, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then the last one here is our last meeting was November 7th. The minutes were distributed there. Any changes or additions there? So hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes of November 7th.
So moved.
Charmaine has made a motion, I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Replays.
Okay, do we get discussions of the appointments first? Do we want to cover the, Brett's here strictly for the
We can do that.
additional, we want to try to maybe mix that up a little bit and do that first,
Appreciate it. Yeah,
and you can go on,
yeah, great.
unless you want to stay around for the.
Okay, I'm here for additional appropriations at Hume Bridge. The first one is materials line item for $30,000. The reason for asking for that is I need to make a big storm drain culvert order. We've done a lot of culvert replacement this year, kind of ran dry with the prices. I need to make one more for the year's end, so I need to get that stuff. That, and then also all the culverts we've been replacing, we're trying to put concrete over the top of them, and that concrete's an extra fee, but it's a smoother transition. And also, when we pave the roads next year, I don't have to put as much hot mix down, I just kind of pave right across them. It's just a smoother transition, works out really good for us. So why I need those extra funds there. Tools and equipment, I'm requesting $4,000. The reason for that is the aluminum forms that we purchased last year. There's a few fillers that I need, just things to help make it a little smoother, just extra pieces. It's gonna be roughly, I think, $3,000 worth of extra forms, but then also we're gonna get some, a drill and an impact to go along with it. So that's what we're asking additional for.
So 34,000 for supplies.
Yeah, it's three for materials, four for
Just the
tools and
first one.
equipment. Yeah.
So we will approve that separately.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion, or is there any questions for Brett? I guess I should do that first, or anything?
So this is 34,000, is what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay,
So
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
is that you, Doug, or?
Yeah.
Doug's made a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, so the last one is the 15th Street Bridge extension, 15th Street extension, the bridge that goes on that road, sorry. The $105,000 that I'm requesting is strictly for the design. That's the job we're gonna do with Jasper. They're going to pay for the road. Our payment is just for the bridge design. So that's what I'm requesting, additional $105. Now our contract will have interlocal with the city on this project, and they'll have a contract with the consultant. But we'll have an agreement. But they gave me a budgetary estimate of 100. I think it was 102. It was around 105. Make sure we covered it for the design.
So where's this one at?
15th Street out by the high school. So where 15th Street takes off and goes west, it actually dead ends. They want you run it into Legacy Living. And they have to cross a ditch, a pretty significant ditch in there.
Okay.
I think it's straight, what the name of it is,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
but that's where they run to extend out to.
So on this, how would the bridge be paid for then?
So what we'll do with that as well is, after the designer comes in and gives us a full design of the bridge, they'll give us a cost estimate, similar to what I do from other bridges, they'll give you a cost estimate. I would assume we'll have another interlocal with the city, and we will give them what that estimate is. Then the contractor will build it. If it's over or under, there's change orders that are involved, we'll base on, if we have to add more to it, we'll add more to it. If they gotta pay us back, they'll pay us back. So, but it all based on what the contractor does, and we'll have firm numbers for that stuff.
So am I understanding you right, that the city would actually pay for the bridge?
We will,
I mean,
in theory, what I envision us doing is we'll write them a check prior to the project that they put in their fund that they can pay out.
so we would pay for it, the county would pay
For
for
the bridge.
funds.
Yeah, out of King Bridge, which is our responsibility. That's why we accept King Bridge tax.
Is there
Can that
sufficient?
fund, sustain that?
We've got enough unappropriated right now for this kind of work, but we are running low. We're gonna kind of take a hiatus on this stuff a little bit. Because we're building division. We got this one probably that's gonna go. There's another one I have that I'm probably gonna delay just until we get the King Bridge funds back going again.
When they gonna start that?
I'm hoping next year sometime, early next year, that's what I'm hoping. If you guys appropriate it, then I'm going to call the city or email the city tomorrow and get that ball rolling. And I don't want them to be waiting on us. I want to have that stuff ready, and whenever they get it ready to go, so we can go. I hope.
So the location of that, so if you turn into Legacy Living off 6,
Mhm.
is it, it looks like you go straight down. Is that where the bridge would be located? Just, I don't know, is that?
Yeah, so if you would pull off of Legacy Living, then you would head and look east. You go look right, and we go right into there. And there's a big tree line right now. That tree line's where that ditch is at. And that's where we'll
Oh,
cross.
it's over there, okay.
Yeah, I wish I had a map. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we'll go.
I know there's a lot of rumors going around about what's gonna happen with that Highway 56 and that whole intersection there.
And that's this
Is that the roundabout thing?
350 where Bush Cutters is getting a roundabout. That's already scheduled and gonna happen. The talk is to upgrade that one to a roundabout out. So you come out of one roundabout, go in another one, and keep on trucking.
Right.
And that's popular. Up in Indy, they do it everywhere. So it's not how the question would happen. Just,
Well,
it's better than a stoplight.
that bridge at the bottom of the hill's getting repaired too.
It's getting an overlay. They're not actually replacing it. They're just overlaying it.
Okay.
We were wondering the same thing, because we were asking for hydraulic modeling to do that, but all they're doing is just deck replacement, the way I understand it. So don't quote me on that, right? But that's the way I understand it. They don't need hydraulic models, so they're just putting a new deck on it and going.
Okay.
So
How long's that gonna be closed for?
I think they'll do one lane at a time.
Right.
If I envision it, they do one lane at a time.
So once the design is done, they'll give a cost estimate, and then that's whenever you would
I'll
come
come
in
back.
for an
Yeah.
appropriation.
Because I don't even know where to start on that thing right now, with the prices going up and down the way they are. I couldn't even give you the budgetary number of what that bridge is gonna cost us until they actually do the design. I'll have a better idea.
So any other questions for Brett while he's here? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion for that $105,000 for design of 15th Street Extension Bridge extension. So
I'll make that motion.
Becky has made a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Alex seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Good. I do have one other thing of topic of discussion. It's more information than anything. So the distressed road fund, I don't know if anybody was on this board, we did the distressed road in 2013.
I don't think so.
Are you commissioner? You were the only one that was even around when we did that. So distressed road fund is a $1 million interest-free loan that we pay back. You guys put $100,000 every year for 10 years, and then at the end of that 10 years, we pay it back to INDOT. 2023, we'll be due for that again. So what I am requesting is next year, early next year, January, possibly February, coming back, requesting you guys pay that $100,000 early, and then we have to pay NDOT back early and get a new contract with them to do more, $1 million for the paving next year as well, is what I'm asking for. So I'm just taking a bug in your ear, and like I said, I mean, you're probably the only one that was here.
I remember all about that, yeah.
So,
That,
We're getting a deal, yeah.
it is a great deal, it's a great deal.
We're
So,
currently in our third one.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We get $1 million, we budget $100,000 over 10 years, goes into another fund. We capture all the interest, pay back the $1 million, and get to use the money for distressed road use.
It's a great deal, it really is. I'm just requesting, last year or 10 years ago, we paid it back in March,
Instead of September.
September, right, and I'm asking that we do that again. It allows me to get a contract with NDOT and possibly pave in 23 again to get that money out, because you know as well as I, everything's going up, so I can pave it in 23 and we get more bang for our buck, is what I'm asking for.
We just take out of it.
We have
So
been.
that's what we've been pulling out of.
And then usually the 10th payment, we have interest, so we don't even have to use the whole 100,000. We use the difference. And use that
It's a
interest
pretty-
towards
It really
it.
is a good deal, and it's something you gotta stick with as long as we can do it. So, I'm
Do
just.
they change the interest rates like everything else?
We
It's
just-
with her, it's-
we-
she's, yeah,
Treasurer ties it up and we capture all that.
yeah. So we actually, NDOT does not see our money until
All they see is giving us $1 million and getting $1 million back.
10 years later. So it's, we play with the money invested, you know, with, you guys put the $100,000 and they invested.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
It is.
so do you like use that over the course of time, or do
We
you
just,
just?
one
use
big
it?
project, yeah, we do, last year, or 10 years ago, they paved 5 roads, Olive Club Road, which is a huge road. Oh my God, I can't remember all of them now. Edgewood Club Road was one of them. But it's several miles of road on each road, you know, so it's a lot of money. When you clump those projects together like that, you can get more bang for your buck. If the contractor knows he's gonna get $1 million for paving, he'll drop his prices a little bit.
Pretty much we pave right away and then you've got the rest of the time it just sits there. And we do reports once a year.
But like last year, that was the
This
community
community,
crossings.
we're doing that again too. So hopefully, knock on wood, if we get community crossings, distress road, and our normal not paving, we have a big year for us. paving wise.
You haven't heard that they're not gonna do that program.
No, I've actually talked to a lady in Vincennes, and yes, they continue with it, they are still doing it. We have to apply, and it's the same concept,
I
yeah.
think they pretty much give us our same $1 million back.
Probably. As long as we keep meeting our criteria, they have no problem with it. So like I said, it's nothing has to be acted upon, just something to keep in your mind whenever I come back in January, February, you guys know what's going on. I'm happy to, you know, email me, have questions or whatever, I can give you all the information. Be just more so you're not completely shocked when I come in January.
Okay, I guess anyone else has got anything, otherwise appreciate you
All right,
coming
thanks
in.
for calling me up, appreciate it.
Explaining it to us. Do we, why don't we take care of all the additionals first, Tom,
That's fine.
and then move into
Okay, where
so we
we did those. In county general, expert witnesses, Judge Verkamp was here speaking about that, one of the previous meetings. $15,000, he's running short on expert witnesses. So,
Any questions on that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve that $15,000 for expert witnesses.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Becky has made a motion.
Second.
Craig has seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
the other county general is in the commissioners, workers' comp insurance. We are short $4,567.
Anybody got any questions on that? Once again, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Okay, Charmaine has made a motion. I have a second. I'll second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Mike, my mind is still stuck back on this distressed road fund. We get $1 million. It's a loan. Okay?
Mhm.
And then, okay, so then we just pay it out of edit.
Okay, we get $1 million from the state. We put it in a fund called distress road. We spend you guys will appropriate that million. They'll do all the roads. Over 10 years, every year you guys budget $100,000 out of edit. We take that 100,000 and we move it into the distress road repayment loan fund. After the 10 years, we have $1 million in there, we can send it back.
So it's all paid out of edit.
Right, it is all out of edit over 10 years.
So $1 million.
And the interest then?
And the interest-
is that last payment.
It stays, whatever interest we accrue, it stays in that fund, in that distress repayment loan fund. And so next year, I don't know, I didn't look today, but it won't be the whole 100 that we need. We just take the difference out of edit to make it 100,000.
Thank you for explaining that.
No. Okay, in the edit fund, we are needing to appropriate $500,000 for health insurance. The end of our plan year is in October. We had a really bad October, so we had to pay more money in. We're hoping to get some of that back on reinsurance, which if you have a case that's over $80,000, then you get reinsurance money back, but you gotta pay it first. So in October, we paid it out. Now we're starting to get some of that back, but I had to pay it first, so I'm short. So of this 500,000, I don't think I'll use much of it, but I gotta get that line item back in the black. So, does that make sense?
And then the money that comes back from reinsurance
It doesn't go back into this line item. It stays in our health insurance at UGS, Karen Stone. They'll keep using that amount of money. So they're gonna, as money comes back, they'll use it and I won't have to fund them more. But I gotta get my line item back in the black.
So then it'll reduce the amount that gets used early in 23.
Or for the rest of this year. They've already started to bring some back. But
Yeah, I just didn't know it.
yeah, it's the prepaying part that you gotta have.
So any other questions or any questions? on
And the reason I did it out of edit is because that's where we're paying for it all this year.
that door when you get the key.
Oh,
I'll go around.
okay. It's, thank you.
Well, that's good. Can we just hold off on voting on that? So-
Yeah, I can go and
This next one on the,
the next one is the lit CR tax. We have some soft costs that we wanted to ask for $100,000. I mean, it's CR tax. We've already used some of the money that we budgeted this year, but it keeps building every month. So we just thought we'd start using a little more of it.
and what I think mostly what that is the it says soft cost. Most of that's the furniture for the jail pop. If you've been there, the tables in the room and the heavy chairs and the office furniture of the break room furniture, the TVs. So that's basically some of that. If memory serves me around $60,000. So, and then the moving costs and the storage, we got two semi-trailers or whatever out there. So, we're utilizing those for, we'll be needing them till.
You can leave it open.
Till,
Leave it like-
the corrections.
Thank you.
Goes back into the.
You're fine. It falls off.
That's basically what it's used for. I think it's a little bit, it's a little more than what we need to expand it. So, the other, we're getting bids on all the additional furniture for the whole building, and that's probably be ordered probably in January. And that's quite a bit of money you know, what I'm trying to do is analyze it. We had it, I've got it over close to the weekend there Friday, and I'm trying to put a spreadsheet together, and I think Lynn over to, in the mayor's office is tracking those costs, but we're seeing if, you know, we're gonna be over budget on what we had, you know, kind of estimated on those soft costs. But I don't know, we'll have to see, and have to see if we gotta cut some stuff out. You know, we're giving a lot of, proposing a lot of new desks and chairs for everyone, but I guess like we heard this morning at the commissioners meeting, a chair's supposed to only last, 4 years? So some of these are in pretty bad shape, but most of them that are good yet are being reused, but just a lot of furniture.
Unlike the chairs you're in that have been like 25 years old.
So anyway. So some of that's back up, you know, that 500,000 in health insurance. You got any questions on that? Okay, otherwise I'll make a motion that we approve that 500,000.
A second.
For a second.
A second.
Becky seconded, so all in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? We can move on. That's all that's the last one.
I got those soft costs. So each department that's going in, so you have the sheriff's department, 911 communications, EMA, all those have different, are we putting them all together or?
We're keeping it like, they're proposed separately, I mean, and having budget, proposal, I guess, for the furniture, they're all separate, I'm gonna break them up, that's what I was trying to do. You know, EMA, we had money in there, but, and she's using some of the stuff, really, getting two new desks down there. You know, to be truthful, I mean, that's what they're proposing.
But it's not gonna be bid separately, they're all together, or somebody's bidding on.
It's business environments.
Okay.
So what we did there is we called them in because we didn't understand that they're in one of those, they're in the buying group, you know, from the state. They're a member of that. So we had them and Kimball, that we represented from Kimball, because most of this is national office furniture. So we called them in to see, you know, if we're not getting taken advantage of, you know, so, you know, they told us that we were getting the lowest rate, you know, that you could possibly get, that they're gonna sell it for, and as a government rate. So, you know, that's kind of what we did. So it's just so we felt, you know, that we were getting a fair bargain here. But, you know, with that volume, we grouped everything together to get that the biggest volume discount you could get.
Yeah.
So we feel, you know, it's still a lot of money. You know, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I mean, the only thing that we talked about here, we went through it, most everyone is getting a desk that raises up and down. And we thought, well, I mean, you're paying, I don't know, $1,500 maybe for that additional. But if you want to have one of those, you know, that a lot of offices have, just to raise that thing. I don't know. I think we might as well move forward to get what's more modern. So that's what we never moved forward yet, but I mean, that's what we're proposing, you know, that's what everyone wanted, I'll say.
Just like those standing desks.
Yeah. You know, you can sit or stand, the whole desktop comes up.
Versus like in my office, we have the risers on top where people can just raise up the top, the section.
Shouldn't
This is the whole desk moves up.
Shouldn't we get an insurance rate decrease for having an ergonomic workplace?
Good point. Well, it helps their wellness, you know, wellness,
Well,
I'm thinking.
I think Lynn kind of made the comment, people use them a lot at first, and then over time, they just kind of forget to go up or go down. But
But if you're stuck at your desk all day long.
I have to say that people in my office, every once in a while, you'll see one go up and one go down, and I mean, they do it as if, so they do use them.
you know, this is the TVs and the, you know, that they're proposing, you know, which they did in the jail pod, and also they furnished the TVs and installed them. So, you know, like EMA would have, I think she's got 5 TVs in that big room there. You know, if they have a disaster, that they can all go there and watch different things. So it's, I mean, we spend a lot of time, you know, Chad and I spend a lot of time with each department head going through the whole thing. You know, the business environment gave us an example. Or, you know, what they thought we should have. We went through it. Each one we crossed stuff out that some people didn't want. But I mean, we probably spent, you know, probably in each department, probably 4 hours. So it took some time. So I mean, we're on this last phase now. We're gonna go back and look at it and then see if we can afford it. And then possibly go back and sit down with them again and say, this is what we're gonna order. If that's, you know, so. You know, I mean, the thing is, you know, like we had 2 body scanners that we had put in there originally. Well, then we paid for those other CARES grants, so that money's still there in that soft cost. So we were thinking, well, you know, that's $300,000, maybe help us buy better, you know, buy more up-to-date furniture. So, and if anybody's got any questions or want to see this, I'll show up and share it with you. Anybody?
This 100,000 is just for this year to get the things we bought this year. Next year, you already have it budgeted, so.
Right. But I want to, you know, I still think, you know, as a county, I think I gotta say this to you. I just think we're doing the right thing by staying on top of this. You know, I know it's not easy to attend every meeting out there and stay on top of it. I think you got a comfort level with between the commissioner, president, and myself, you know, that we're not getting taken advantage of, I guess is what I should say.
I appreciate the time you're putting in, that's.
Yeah, we're fortunate these guys are putting the time in, because it's a lot of extra. It's,
And I think, you know, they have to move forward. Otherwise, we would have Charmin in here every month. And, you know, they'd say, well, we had to do this and we had to do that. You know, I don't know. I think as long as we get 2 people looking at it, and you know, I think that other people show up, and anybody's welcome to those meetings. You know, to sit in on. I think a lot of you have, or some of you have. But we go through each line item, and if there's a change, you know, we ask for a breakdown, and you know, Charmin reviews it, and architect reviews it. So, you know, some of it is what it is. So, anyway, I guess we got to make a motion on that jail. Jail construction soft cost $100,000. Did you have any questions? So,
Yep.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the $100,000. That's again for this year's expenditure.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Craig has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Becky seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so that's all the appropriations, I think.
I will have at least 2 for the December 12th meeting. One of them is the community corrections utilities. He's running short. They switched over to the pod and they've been paying those utilities and they're higher than what they estimated. So he's probably gonna need about, could be up to $20,000 more for the end of the year for their utilities. They're anywhere between 8,000 and I think he had both buildings last time, so that was an extra amount.
So
So
I've seen that email. So is he paying, he's paying for the pods?
the construction company had the pod until they turned it over to us. And now they're billing Wyatt because they're in that building. They're in the pod. So now they took community corrections and Crimp was paying that,
Okay,
but it overlapped for a couple weeks and he had to pay the bill. So
that's that 4,000.
yes. So he said the normal bill's around 8,000 a month, but they have 12,000 and he's pretty much out of money. So he thinks he's going to need another 8. So I said, let's ask for 20 just to make sure we have enough because if winter is coming and I don't know what that's going to entail.
Thanks.
So that one's gonna be coming up. And then the other one is with the regional sewer district, we're gonna have to hire Baker Tilly to help with the financing. And she said that could be up to $15,000.
Okay.
So I didn't know where you wanted me to advertise those two appropriations from, but
Okay, so did we touch on that? Where if the state revolving fund would reimburse that if we pay Baker Tilly directly or not? Or if they put it into her bill?
Well, that was one of the questions after the last meeting I addressed with her. And she said it doesn't make any difference, but she would rather us pay it, us pay her bill, then she doesn't have to give it to them, they don't have to mark it up or anything, so.
So we'll still be eligible for reimbursement from the revolving.
She,
We pay, if we pay, is that correct?
either way.
Oh.
Really, either way. I mean, it would be, because all the engineering fees are gonna be reimbursable.
Okay.
So I mean, it would just be like, to me, it would be like an engineering, in that same category.
Okay.
So what is the, when would we advertise for that? We're gonna,
I have to go to press Wednesday by 3:30. This Wednesday. It's normally Thursday, but with the holiday, it's gonna be Wednesday.
so, Baker Tilly is gonna be on our phone conversation on
On
December.
that December 12th. That's why she made it the 12th.
So we wanna do that tonight, we wanna do.
I just need to know where you want me to advertise it from. Consensus to advertise.
Yes. It seems like they had it funds, huh? I don't know. I mean, we could use our funds, I guess, couldn't we?
Can't reimburse our funds with a federal grant.
Right.
Can't reimburse, you can't use grant funds to reimburse for grant funds.
That's right, we're getting confused, right, so that, okay.
Because how did that work with the first contract? We ended up paying that out of the general fund, didn't we?
I think that was,
25.
I think that was,
26,000?
I think the first one was the one that we got 30,000 back. And I think we used, the lit. Did we use lit or did we use commissioners? I can't remember.
No, the last one was 69,000.
And that one is out of out of the commissioners.
Out of the commissioners,
Commissioners line item, county general commissioners budget.
they don't say it, funds, I don't think, I don't know. if
Okay.
anybody has
I just
that.
want to make sure that they're going to reimburse it either way. I mean, because I think that
Hopefully they'll
there was
reimburse us.
something sticky about one of them. I guess it was the ARP. We couldn't use ARP.
We weren't,
Corporate.
we talked about using the ARPA and they said, no, you can't reimburse that. So Baker Tilly, I will use the lit ed, community corrections, utilities. I don't know, misdemeanor fund. I don't know if you want to use
It's a pay-
county general. They had used county general is what paid for it before in the maintenance line item.
So, I mean, that's okay with me, I guess.
Looking at the same fund.
Is that all right? Anybody else got a comment?
Okay.
So you will advertise that and then we won't do anything until the 12th of December.
Until December 12th.
And the next thing is the appointments. I got sort of an email, I'll throw that up. But, I guess I'll start on it, the 911 advisory board. I guess we gotta do this in January, but are you willing to serve again?
I am, yes.
Alcoholic Beverage Commission, I guess Anthony.
Yeah, I think we're together. Pretty sure.
Yeah, he mentioned to me that he would be interested in it, so. Area development is must, and I'm willing to serve on that. Actually got asked that, Elmer's going off the radius board of Indiana, so they asked me if I would take his place, so I'm gonna take his place. I'd like to just stay involved with that group. Area. Indiana Region 15 planning is Champaign. So I didn't know if anyone on the council presently has any interest in that. Otherwise, we got two new people, 2 new members coming aboard, right? speak up if you're interested, because I can't look down there.
Just so you know, Ryan had to go to a funeral, his grandmother passed, so that's why he's not here tonight.
I mean, the only thing I had mentioned to Meredith, that, you know, if she has any interest in that, she's gonna follow Charmaine, but I mean, we can make that decision in January, but that's the only one I spoke with.
Their first meeting is, I think, the 4th Tuesday of the month. Not every month, just in January, their first one will be in January, yeah, like the first Tuesday in January.
So first or fourth?
The 4th.
So Meredith is interested in it if we vote it out, you know, I thought I'd at least reach out to her.
I would think that it's the 24th of January, but I'm not sure.
When do those meet? In the evenings?
Yeah, they do. They meet in Ferdinand at the office on First Street, Indiana 15, Planning Commission office. The full board meets at 7 o'clock, usually lasts an hour. If you get appointed to the executive board, they meet at 6 o'clock. Then the full board meets 4 times a year, directly following for an hour. So the full board meets every month. Not the full board. The executive board meets every month, and usually it's an hour at the most.
Okay, so we'll look at that in January, I guess. Then the Park and Rec Board, Jane Betts, I spoke with her, you know, that's a 4-year commitment, and she's willing to do that, so that's great, I think. I really think that's great with what they got going on out there. And then the Property Tax Board of Appeals, Greg Eagle, I spoke with him, he kidded me. I called him and he said if I can guarantee him a raise and a parking spot on the square, he'll be doing it. He said his wife said this.
We did give him a raise, so you got that part.
I told him, I said, I said, we gave a 3% raise, but I said, the parking spot on the square, I don't know if I can commit to that.
Did you get called with everybody else who wants to?
Yeah, so anyway. And then solid waste board, Sonia, would you be willing to stay on that, or?
I would.
Okay. So I think we got everything covered except the Region 15, which we need to discuss, I think, as a new board. I think that'd be fair. Okay, then,
Doug, are you willing to stay on the EMA board while you're here?
Yeah.
Or to be
Is
thinking
that
about
everyone, or-
the tax abatement committee,
pardon me.
the tax abatement committee.
That's my next thing here. You know, we all met, the solar farms, there's 2 of them that are kind of moving into the county. They got 1,600 acres each, I think, or close to it. You know, 100 megawatt generation. But we all spoke with the EMP Renewables, the one that's in Duff. The only, I think, say a month ago or so, we had a meeting with them. They, maybe I already said this, but they are not going to pursue it here. They got a little bit of a delay because of how they sell their power back. So they're going to start on this possibly mid next year. You know, that they're moving forward with this. You know, they kind of ask us, you know, for abatement, and they, you know, they want to throw out a thing for economic development, maybe pay back money. So that's, you know, that's something we have to think about as a council leader. And then we met last Wednesday. Chad and I met with this other light source BP. You know, they've got 1,600 acres there close to the airport or south of the airport. You know, they want to come in, and they got it under lease already. So, but they're going to address this for abatements also. So when I spoke with Angie over the weekend, the assessor, and I told him we got to get this abatement board or committee, not a board, I think it's a committee, together, you know, because a lot of people, Becky's going off. I think we lost a person, Mary was the one for the auditor's office. So we're kind of missing some things here. So I guess I want to throw it out there. You know, Angie's going to stay on it, and Chad asked Nick, he wants to stay on it. So we have to fill up the auditors, or we don't, but we need to replace the auditor's office.
Either I'll serve or I'll have one of mine.
Okay, and the council has two people, and Sonia, you're one of them now. So we want to think about that, who would be a good, knowing what we know here, what we're gonna be approached with probably in February. You know, who would be the other good person to sit on this abatement committee. So I don't know, I've been thinking about it, I just want some input from the other members here. You know, who would be, Sonia, you're willing to stay on?
I'm willing to stay on.
Okay,
We can volunteer Ryan. He's not here to subject. What do you guys think?
Doug, do you have interest in it, or?
I don't know. Okay, Ryan would be
I
good
mean-
for it though, because he's in real estate and, you know, and different stuff like that, I would think.
Okay. I didn't know, I wanted to ask the present members first, and Alex,
No.
you're not interested in it?
Well, it's definitely something that meets in the day, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it anyway, if it meets during the day.
It's gonna be unpredictable.
I mean, the only thing I thought, Alex, this is my thinking, that, you know, you're a farmer, this is gonna affect farmers.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's fine with what I got to say on the tax abatements for the solar park. either.
See, that's a perfect reason why you should volunteer.
No,
Okay. Well, we'll, you know, I mean, this is not something that, I know the latest one is a light source BP, that's British Petroleum, they own 49% of this company, and then Light Source owns the other 51%. So, but you know, you know, when I brought up economic development money, he didn't act like they were interested in doing that. They just want an abatement, which could be hard to sell. But I don't know, it's up to the committee. You know, and you have to fill out the paperwork. So, it's the assessor, Angie, she's gonna research. You know, I told her about Randolph County when we went up to the council thing up there, and they had a representative there. You know, they were pleased with it. I asked her if she would maybe reach out to the assessor or the auditor up there, or you know, the people up there to see, you know, what they're doing right. So when they come in, you know, to ask us, I think we gotta, at least we know what we're, you know, got heads up on.
I feel like we need to be really prepared because these people are used to going places. They got big shot lawyers, you know, that know exactly the statutes and whatever to pull out.
Right, that's what scares me too.
We need to
You
be
know,
prepared.
Be prepared. So I'm actively pushing it, you know, so, but if Sonia, if you're gonna stay on, I mean, I don't know who is really responsible for this. The council has the final decision. So I'm just trying to get the ball rolling here so we're prepared.
Yeah, it's up to you guys if you approve it or not. So it stops right there.
Because EDP had picked up an application packet
But they have
a
not,
few months ago.
Today.
So I don't know if this new company has even looked at it, but,
I don't
you
know.
know, we know they don't employ many people. And so the way the application is set up and the scoring is
Probably
not
not
really
much in it.
favorable to a company like this.
It's pretty straightforward.
So I don't know, I think it'd be interesting to know what the farmers do think, because they're the ones losing their land, in a way. I mean, I know they're getting paid for it.
well, what they think is they don't want to subsidize other people to destroy farmland, whether they own it or not. I mean, we're all for personal property rights when you own a lot of land, pay property taxes on them, but to subsidize that, no, they're not for it.
But they've already got 1,600 acres that somebody's for it, I guess.
Yeah, that's only the one company, the latest one. I don't know. And I've got it in our office, and they got quite a few acres too.
Well, I'm just wondering if, because we don't have planning and zoning, is that why these companies are coming here, because they can? We have nothing to restrict them.
Even if we had, see what you're saying, even if we had a zoning, out in farmland.
I don't know, I'm just
you know what I'm
wondering.
saying? I don't know if we would still be able to keep them out if a farmer wants to sign a
And they
lease.
target those distribution substations that are built, because they don't want to have to build that part. So,
That's why they're going down, and that's
Yeah.
part of the county.
I don't know enough about it.
So they can get on. Okay, that's the fun thing there.
Well, I had a farmer that wanted us to be cognizant about, the farmland being gone. That's less workers like Superior Ag and, applying chemicals or seed, anything, there's a net loss, for employees. So that was something that he wanted to make sure I brought up, that I knew about.
Like a trickle down effect to
Correct, not
local
just,
businesses also.
correct. And,
Because you're taking land out of production.
yes.
Yes, so they're not buying fertilizer and all this stuff, having employees and
True.
And
buying
farming-
equipment and.
Yeah,
Right,
farm
repairs.
influence,
Yeah,
repairs.
repairs and
So
maintenance.
it's a net loss is what he, so that's something that I want to make sure that I was told everybody, yeah.
That's a very good one.
That's a similar thing what I heard, when someone approached me to,
All right.
so. And I think we get the facts, or have Angie get the facts for us, and then she can kind of teach us, whoever's on that. I'd like to sit down on two of the council, she can address the council and members too. Okay, sewer district, was the next thing I had, so, they had the public hearing today at the commissioner's meeting. There was about, I figured there's about close to 30 plus people here. And, had input from property owners. They all, they had comments both ways, and I think it went well. So I just wanted to say that. That's for the $15,000 for Baker Tilly. His name's Andre, is that?
Andre?
Who's going to be, he said he'd be on the phone call with us on the 12th. Let's see. I think
Was that Craig with, rural development? I thought he spoke very well.
Oh, yeah, I didn't,
Oh, yeah.
McGowan?
yeah,
I think his last name is McGowan.
He,
he's kind of a local guy too. So he's trying to do everything. I thought maybe he could come in and address the council too.
he was very positive.
And the other thing, I just want for your information, I think you can hear it on the commissioners meeting. Chad and I did meet with Surfside. They want to get a new office space. Bill Schoenfeld is retiring at the end of the year. And, he's really not wanting to release his office to anyone. So, but he did say if we would move, he would give us a month lease. So
I hear something.
anyway, so I think with the commissioners agreed to move on, but Beth came up with the, down between the Ace Roofing Company down on, I'll call it off of 3rd Street, and the tourism thing office down there. There's a section there, and actually Ryan Craig is trying to sell, is the agent for it. But it's an office space, I come up with about 1,345 square feet that they would finish out for them, and it would be $1,500 a month for a 3-year lease or 36-month lease. So when we added it all up and then checked it with the mowing and the other stuff that we were doing at the other office is $950 a month. Bill Schoenfeld. So it's a little more money, but the whole package seems to be close to what it costs us at Schoenfeld's office. So I know this is kind of the layout, let me pass it on.
So does it go straight to the back of the building, like does it like where Jasper downtown fitness and running was, is that how?
But it would go
Just
straight
the-
back, which is there a gravel parking lot back there by the,
Must be self and trashy one day.
Yes.
Alright.
so it's, but you know, it's pretty, you know, for them to finish it out like they wanted, it seems like I think a pretty good deal, but I don't know.
We don't have any space, like with EMA moving to the Yale or other offices moving around, we don't have any other space here that they can.
You know, we did discuss that, you know, she says it's not big enough down there. It would be a good year before they could do it, and I don't know if Bill would, you know, Bill Shadyfield would agree to lease that long, because I think he might sell it, or trying to sell it. He did offer to buy it, for us to buy it, for the county to buy it.
To buy it.
I just wanted to,
It wasn't something that was beneficial. Price was too high.
well, I don't think we got that far, but
We didn't
if,
get that.
you know, if it's over so many dollars, then we have to get two appraisals, and then what if he's, I don't know if he's not happy with that.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to let you know. And then the last thing, I'm just gonna mention here, you know, the public safety tax. I know that the sheriff and Jasper City Police called a meeting, and I think a few of us attended, I think Meredith was there. What, Alex, you were there, and I was there. We had three council people, but, you know, they just all throughout there, I don't know if you want to address some of this. I don't know.
They're just talking about options to help fund things that they want to get done. So using the public safety tax, which is we 0.25%. Right now, we're still at 1.2. They gave a ranking around the state. I didn't have that number, but if that's a qualifying number.
72 of the 92 counties or something like that.
That have the public safety tax. So we're one of the 20 that doesn't have it.
Have those other 72 or whatever, have they had it for a while, or is it just something, is this just something new that they're?
It's not new.
that they're
Public
adding?
safety tax has been around for a while. But I don't know when all
The other
of them
ones
did.
did, yeah.
Right. So I know so I actually chatted with the sheriff then after we all received that invite. And my question was, how do you vision, because the money doesn't go just to the sheriff's department. You know, public safety is 911, that's community corrections, it's
EMA,
EMA, there's, he also mentioned volunteer fire departments. But I don't see where volunteer fire departments just
EMS.
get a check every year. That's not how it should be in my eyes.
EMS, I mean,
EMS
there's
is
a bunch.
in there too, because there's ambulances that we're funding every year, so. So I think there's a lot to discuss, but I think how we left the meeting is they were going to, when I say they, I guess the sheriff along with, chief of police, Nathan, we'll call him Mach. And, they were gonna kind of come up with ideas of how they would use the money. And,
Any other small towns, right?
Correct.
Yes, for the other small towns.
to come up with that as well.
Cities.
So I think, ultimately, we're the ones who decide where the money goes, so they can have a wish list.
I
but that's
think
not
we
where it
have to
goes.
figure out how, if we institute the tax, if it's gonna be more like our COA tax was, where all the taxing units get it except for your schools, or if you're gonna do it more like the edit tax, where it's just cities and towns and the county. I think that's the kind of thing we have to figure out, who gets this, and are townships included, because they get COA money now. So they do stuff with fire. So I'm trying to figure into that, but I haven't had a chance to call the state.
We wanted at least to let you know, that's all that we found out. It was just more discussions. Everybody needs something though. You know.
With that tax, would it help us relieve some of our struggle with the general fund? You know, that we're,
It seems like, because we could pull it from there.
Instead of
Certain
paying
things.
for something, we could say it comes out of public safety for the sheriff department, and then we could use that money in county general for something else.
So, yes,
Or even back here, Beth says she could use some of that money.
yeah, she like another prosecutor, I think is what she had mentioned today at commissioner meeting. So there's a lot of,
I don't know, it's just kind of timing right now with the economy and everything, adding another tax to everybody. I know it's not a huge amount, but it's still, everything's gone up and now we're gonna add another tax on everybody. I don't want it to be a wish list. I don't know if someone said a wish list of things. If it's gonna be a tax, it has to be something that's needed for these departments. Not like, oh, I want this, I haven't had this, so I want it now. No, that's not, I wouldn't agree to that. I would agree to something that if it was something that they need to function more, but it's a deficit that they haven't been able to get and had to, use other funds or suffer other ways or something like that, but not like a wish list type deal.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
don't think that's fair to the
This one doesn't sunset.
taxpayers. Yeah, this one doesn't sunset.
Right, well, I mean, I think a lot of, not all, but several of the counties that have it, they're in a position where they don't have money in reserve. They're in a position where they were living, they were having to bond in order to just pay for their operating expenses.
Yeah, there's a reason why we haven't gotten this for
Right.
how many years and other counties have, so.
I don't feel like we're in a position that we have to implement a tax. I mean, we already did that. We did the CNR. I'm like, I am totally against the public safety tax at this point. I don't think we need it. Would we use it? Yeah, we use it.
This is the right thing to do, just to use it.
Now, we are in a position where if all the cities and towns voted for yes and we voted no, it would still go because they're probably 51%.
I wouldn't vote for it though.
I mean, I think all these points, make some good points, those points came up.
they did.
I brought up some of them. But, we're going in, we could have a recession next year, plus, then you lose wages, plus you pay more, for the common person or the working person. Social Security's taxed, all income is really taxed, when you in Indiana. So,
I feel like with the CNR, whatever is collected outside of what is required for the bond, that's what's subsidizing our public safety right now. Some of it.
It will.
Would be,
That's our hope.
right, some of it, I mean, of course, there's gonna be other things with the rehabilitation side, but, some of that will be used for operations.
And that's why we chose that tax, because it was for a specific purpose and we knew that we could use it for other things that we needed and we're gonna have a need for in the future, so. And it is, it's not like you're gonna keep getting it from everybody.
Well, and then the entire county is, the cities and towns are beneficiaries of that, they don't have to have a jail, they don't have to have jailers, like every city and town, they don't, I think there's the argument that, well, the county is keeping all that, but yes, but all of the people who commit crimes are housed here in this place, no matter what town they're from.
good point. So, I think that's, just what you said, I think we want to see if it's a need, there's, we said wish, but we made it clear that it can't be a wish, it's got to be a need. So if we can get all the other towns, come up with that list of what they, what are they lacking that they can't afford. So it's a good one, and they are going to retail one after the first year.
Right.
I thought we'd just throw it out there so we all know what's going on. Otherwise, anybody else got anything else? That's all I have.
I did want to tell you that we did get our 1782 notice for our budget. They did not cut anything. Mike and I reviewed it. The tax rate and everything looks, I mean, the tax rate did go down because our assessed value went up. So I haven't got a final budget order yet, but it's in the process, so we should be getting that soon.
So again, I'll ask you this, you probably told me twice. But, let's take these solar panels where you get all this influx of personal property. If it's, this guy tells me it's $200 million they're gonna put in this, which I don't know if it's all panels, but let's say $100 million. So that's, goes into the assessed.
That would go into our assessed value.
So then our tax rate would drop, right?
Should. If your assessed value goes up, your tax rate should come down because you're capped at what you're levying. You can only raise by the growth quotient. So that's a constant in the middle. So it should do this, unless you do like City of Jasper and you add a tax to keep your rate the same. Then you're gonna pay more.
Mhm.
Now, if the assessed value would drop, you still got that rate that you gotta pay. Normally it does this.
So just,
So that the revenue grows by the growth quotient. The revenue still grows based on that, right, whatever the formula is.
And hopefully our revenues do what I estimated or increase. Which, like I told Mike, I always estimate our revenues low because you just never know.
okay. Got a lot of things on our plate here. The next meeting then is November 28th at 4:30. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Amanda has made a motion, I have a second. So a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting's closed.
The only thing we're gonna have to think about in next month is when we're gonna meet in January, because we're gonna have to start being able to advertise for the January meeting.
For community corrections too, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Because we got